Hi everybody, welcome back to the show. Miss Belita, thank you once again for coming.
Problem.
Yeah, I'm sure people are not going to get tired of your lovely face.
I wouldn't know.
You would not know. They'll probably tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to hear as much as possible.
Okay.
So today, basically, we're going to be talking about a whole different thing, and I'm going to be asking her about the monetization of her poetry. So yeah, I want you to tell me, how have you made money through your poetry, and how can another person learn through your ways of having made money?
Okay. It's funny because there was a guy who had texted me on Facebook and I was like, hey, really like your work. I'm like, thanks. He's like, do you make money? I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, okay, I also want to make money in poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easy to make money in poetry? What should I do? And I was like, you'll have to build a career first.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, who do I call? And one, he wasn't a poet, so he reminded me a lot of
Sorry. Because I know. I already know what you're going to say, but okay. He reminded you of who?
He reminded me a lot of other family members.
Okay.
Who would look for quick ways to make money, I hear people driving, these cars make money.
Yeah.
I hear people, it's always the make money part. It's not I wish I could just do this thing that I love so much.
Yeah. Passionate about.
Exactly. And also, as if you're building a career in entertainment, then you're becoming a public figure, right? Which means you need to talk to people a certain way. You can't just be like, excuse me, don't disrespect my art, get out of my inbox, So also trying to softly inform people that you need to go do what you love, take things seriously, is also a way to keep them coming to your shows, right? So monetizing would be having your shows. Once you've built some kind of reputation by performing at different venues and such, then you've built an audience that's willing to come and see you again, willing to even pay to come and see you because they like your work, and that's a big thing because people have jobs and responsibilities and friends that they hardly see. So if they're taking time out of that already to come and see you perform, it shows that there's a certain worth they've given your work. So it's very important that you keep building that worth in order to maximize on who comes to your work. You do that through the way you design your posters, the people that share your work. It's all nice and well to have family members supporting you, friends just sharing posters and stuff, but the quality of the people sharing your work, not that they aren't quality, but they're more likely to share it with people that aren't into art, that aren't, so if you're able to get the different poetry houses to help share your work, that's why relationships are very important as well. It's like speaking as a lone ranger in life. I'm a big fan of working on my own, of keeping to myself, just this hermit, solitary energy. But we can't get anywhere like that as a people, as a race. You're not on this planet alone, so I'm not going to watch my own shows, pay for the ticket, listen to the stuff I record. I need people for that, and so I need to participate as a human being. And I like to see it as living and not using people, right? Just understanding who you are, understanding what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to share, you're just trying to express, then keeping your content as honest as possible. Even your marketing content, you don't have to look like a superstar or like a rock star on the poster just because you're trying to attract an audience. How true is that to who you really are, to the work you actually put out? Do I hear the spikes in your hair that's on that poster when I'm sitting down and listening to you? So also that consistency, people are better able to remember who you are when you're not all over the place. Copywriting is also a very lucrative part of poetry. So ads, marketing, like the work I had done with MAC Cosmetics, with Jameson, they wanted the poetry. So they run their campaigns with a specific idea.
Yeah.
Sure, they're promoting their business, they're promoting their goods, but they also have a specific theme. So like with MAC, it was this owning your power thing. It's not just about putting on makeup. It's about doing whatever you want because it's your life. If you wanna wear paint on your face every day, no one can tell you anything. Yeah, and just reinstating the fact that you have control over whatever you want to do, regardless of your shape, size, background. And with Jameson, the idea of keeping safe during this time, but also like remembering to be alive, not just okay, I must keep my head down, put on a mask, keep my head down, put on a mask. But the world has changed. How will I change to suit it, as opposed to just breaking down, And those themes are already common in poetry, already common in my poetry as well. The understanding of power, whether it's magical or like physical, the movement, the control, understanding how to keep yourself as the center of your life,
Okay, what exactly is copywriting? Like if you had to explain it in words, what is copywriting?
Copywriting is you have a shop, for instance, and your shop wants to do marketing, right? That requires communication. So you get someone to do the digital marketing. That's the colors that attract people. That's a kind of communication.
Right.
The wording, that's where I come in, right? Things people would like to hear, things people would remember if they heard, things that draw images for people when they see it. It's not just a word on a wall and then it's forgotten, So that's what copywriting is. Not only being memorable, but being relevant, being heard, being seen.
At the time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So for different businesses, whether it's a shop or a product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good entry point for especially poets nowadays.
Yeah.
If you've obviously honed your craft,
Right.
that's your entry point in which you can go into the market. So many people wouldn't know that. How do you go from being a poet on the street, or as you were saying the other day, you learned poetry in school? How do you go from being a poet in school to being on a Jameson advert?
Yeah.
So that is what people need to know, is that you need to know what copywriting is, what people are looking for out there when they are looking for a poet, for example. So that being said, what other brands do you think would align with your brand?
Okay.
How would you want to be seen out there?
I would like to do, because I facilitate as well, like we spoke about in the first. So I would like my writing to be more for the teaching. aspect, right? A big problem I found with the people around me as well, and I think just the world, is the way we communicate. Like, we have so much to say and so much gets lost in translation because we're using like slang or whatever we pick up from the internet. And not that there's anything wrong with those words, it's just that the way we explain ourselves as individuals, not like forgetting all those trendy words now that put us all in this one collective box. The way we express who we are as different people gets lost in translation. So that's where the facilitating comes in. That's where like the different techniques come in. So that if I'm reading something, if you've written me an email, something as plain as an email, right? It's not this robotic, just spewed thing on my screen. You know, it's not something that could have easily come from anything on the internet. I can actually hear your tone, your character. I know what I have an idea of the kind of person that has written to me. So those kind of techniques I feel are very necessary in not just for just the everyday person, but in the corporate world as well. You know, the way we talk to our colleagues, we think that professional means like we stop being human, we stop sounding like we have feelings, and that isn't the case. So that mix of getting to the point, but also speaking from one person to the other, because that's the whole point of advertising. Look, I'm using this thing and you're relating to me because you either look like me, or you also have to pay rent, or you're also studying, whatever it is. It's like our whole message is that we could be the same person, you know, so we should like act like people.
Which brand would you like to work with?
Wow, I think artists, I would like to work with more artists, if we're looking at the artists as brands now. There are certain artists that I really like Sampa the Great, for instance.
Right.
Mariba. What's her name? The one that sings Venezuela Trains. Yeah, that lady. Love that lady.
Because you like the song?
No, but okay, the words in the song, those are messages, right? And they reveal how these people think. So I would like to work with those people, because not only do I resonate with the message that they're like sharing and the fact that they feel, you know, they're feeling things. They're not just like pretending. Even when they're pumping themselves up and praising whatever they're doing, they're talking about like what it's really like, not just I'm a boss.
And this is what people want to hear all the time.
So I would like to work with people like them, because I feel we don't have enough voices like that that encourage people to be human, to actually fight through what they're going through, not look good through what they're going through,
or look the part, like not portray an image that is not true or that is facetious.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. As you're saying, people are brands now. Like the brand, you didn't mention one brand that was a tangible thing, like like lipstick or a book or whatever. So people have become brands now. And I like the fact that you did not mention a thing that you like, one thing that you want to work with, which is like, as you say, like people have become brands. So what do you want to be? What if you were to see yourself in the image of someone like you, outside of yourself? What would you want another person to be seeing at that moment?
I would want someone to not want to walk out of the room when I speak.
I think you've checked that. We're still here.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
I would want someone to think that they could talk to me, right? And I would want them to talk to me about real things, you know? I'm trying to avoid the word deep, but this is where we are, okay? I like music, I like movies, I like clothes, I love to shop, you know? But I don't want to spend 4 hours talking about that stuff, or like what people are doing in America, you know. Like what stories do you know, you know? Like what are your grandparents doing right now, you know? Once you make all that money you're trying to save for, what are you gonna buy? Are you gonna buy land? Are you gonna run off? You know, are you gonna say, I don't recognize this government, I'm going to live, you know, in isolation? Apart from this world, I would like to connect with people. So I want people to feel like they can connect with me when they talk to me. I want them to approach me and think, oh, you know, there's this herb that it just like it clears your head or whatever. I think you'd like it. I would love that.
You would have loved this other little girl that came here yesterday.
Okay.
She was awesome.
Oh wow.
She was really awesome.
Okay.
And speaking of little girls, like how do you take your art and, you know, try and educate the young, or try and, you know, instill some of what you know into them?
So in the facilitation, I also facilitate children, younger, like very young. Well, if they can talk and write, that's enough.
So not babies.
Not babies. So a large part of poetry or any art form is storytelling, right? The communication that I keep going on about. So have children knowing how to communicate is very important. And the most comfortable way I found for them to do this is through magic and imagination.
Yes.
So doing poetry workshops with them is very fun, because anything can walk on anything, can scrape whatever, you know, the stars can pour out of their mouths, and it's funny because even the trauma, they find a way to release in that form of storytelling. So you're better able to, I'm probably not even answering your question now.
You are.
Okay, okay. But you're better able to see what they're seeing, how they think, right? Which is much easier than trying to ask them, and sorry for the graphics, but like, did he touch you? Or like, are they treating you well there in that house or whatever? You don't have to ask these questions. They're children. They're not going to get the gravity of what you're asking.
Right.
Even if the trauma is heavy, even if like whatever's happening in their lives are heavy. Good feelings as well, good experiences as well. But through storytelling, through this thing we're creating, making together, because that's their whole thing. Let's build a world, you know? You can see, because it will imitate this real world. And I think that helps us better connect with, better understand the children around us, because we like to act like it's us and then it's them, when it's not. We just have different languages. They're growing into us. Exactly.
So it's like
exactly. And everything we claim we're building, leaving behind is for them, you know? We need to know like how they're coping. We can't just, they're not just frozen in time until they're grown-ups. There's a lot happening during that time.
Every day, every moment of that day. So yeah, I like that. I like how you explain that, because kids are, and they're sensitive as well. Super. And they take in so much at their little young ages that we're just like, oh no, that's a kid. She's 5 years old, so therefore this must be happening with this kid, etc., etc. But we don't take into cognizance how they tell how they're feeling and their story,
Right.
etc. So that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's quite interesting. Anyway, yeah, the last question that I would like to know from you is, how do you place yourself? How do you ground yourself on this world, on this earth? How do you say, okay, I don't want to be this person that wants to talk about shopping for 4 hours, that wants to talk about all these unnecessary things that we usually are so ambushed with on a daily basis. Like the media is ambushing us with all these things, like go buy this, go do that, go and this is what your life is supposed to be like. How do you stay grounded and not fall into the trap of being that person?
I think already we're different people in life, and as different people we like different things. So it isn't like, it's not, people won't just suddenly like the things that I like because they're trying to stop being fed by the media and whatever. But for me, I've always had an interest in other things, and I think having like such a rocky upbringing, such a crazy, seeing life be crazy, has definitely influenced the way I see life, because I feel like I need to pay attention, I feel like I need to be alert. So even when I'm not maybe being jumpy or like watching everything, I stay aware. And that has come with practice. It's come with like looking at everything around me. And so habits that I really enjoyed growing up, like reading, writing, they help remind me to be aware. Yeah, I'm writing about this door, what am I seeing in the store, what's coming through the store, what never leaves the store, what are doors, and which ones do we see, which ones don't we see. So simply, I think it's because I enjoy talking to myself. So it's easy to get from one place to another when there's a lot of talking inside. And if you are dictating that conversation, if you're starting that conversation, then there's less room for like other things to take up space. But if you're not trying to think because you think it means you're overthinking or whatever, if you shy away from that part of yourself because you think you need to like keep focused, get this done, and like there's no actual introspection, there's no how do I feel about this, like even if I'm still going to do it, even if I need to get it done, like not switching off. Don't go on autopilot.
Right.
Autopilot is how we end up just talking about what to buy next, where to party, where to drink. We can do all of those things and still have meaningful experiences, So I think people should seek meaningful experiences. There are so many entrepreneurs out there. Why are people starting businesses? We should know, we should find out, We should like attend things that they're hosting and see what's happening at least. So I think we're too divided is another problem. People that are that call themselves change makers. So people that want to plant in the urban city, that want to teach kids, that want to have all these programs in place. It's like they have one world. And then people that work for the corporate sector and this, it's another. We hang out in different places, like we watch different things. It's so I think merging, get whatever situation, place you're used to, go somewhere else. Just go do something else. Yeah. And if you haven't done it, you don't know that you don't like it. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for joining us, you guys, and yeah, see you next time. Ciao.